Yes.
Hi, I'm Esther Zuckerman. It's very loud. And this is Jason Schwartzman. As you know.
Hey.
So,
do you want me to sit there? Wait,
no, I think we're good. You've been working with Wes for 25 years. Rushmore came out in 25 years ago, which is sort of crazy to think about. I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about sort of what your working relationship with him is right now and how it's developed over the years.
It's besides my family, Wes, my best friend Danny Emmer from 7th grade, and my friend Dan are the only three people I could say that I've known for that long. It's very strange to know someone for so long, and then to work with them, I think is like even more unique and wonderful. And I'm grateful to know them, because I don't know many people that aren't my family that long. And I think, I think that for me at least, when I met him when I was 17, at the audition for Rushmore, very nervous before walking in. I had never auditioned. I wasn't an actor, so I had never been to an audition. It wasn't like it's my first one that I got. I had never been. And I remember walking in. Even just a side note to the audition, and just all these other actors in there for the same part, and just they had a look in their eye that I didn't. And I was just very scared, but up for the experience of it. And anywho, when I walked in, I've never said anywho in my life. By the way, I don't know what happened. I remember walking in and very scared, and seeing his shoe. He had sandals, these Converse sandals, which I've never really seen him again, I guess. And, but they were so, wow. And then we started to talk about his sandals. It wasn't like and he started to talk to me about my shoes. And that led to music. And before you know it, it's been 15 minutes of us sharing bands that we like and things that we're interested in. I believe because that was 1997, and so I was a year deep into just loving Pinkerton by Weezer, and I think we talked about Pinkerton for a long time. And anywho, it was so fun. I was so instantly relaxed because it was just about sharing. I just felt like I was talking to someone who likes things, which is what I like things, and I really felt, anyway, blah, 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 blah. At one point, he asked me an opinion about something, because I believe someone else was walking in with a hat for the movie, the Karen Patches, the costume. Yeah. And he asked me what I thought of something, and I remember being surprised because I'd never been asked my opinion by someone of that age group, and they actually were curious of the answer. And I felt weird about it, but I remember clocking it, like, especially, I was just, I don't know, however I was, people didn't ask me. I didn't really have any, it wasn't like I was like, but I remember being like, wow, he's listening to me. And I guess he was the first person that really asked me a question and waited to hear the answer, which I don't think it was, I don't know. But that, and when we started to work on the movie, we were living just 3 doors down from each other in this hotel. And every night after work, we would eat in his room together. And we would just eat and talk about that day or what else is going on in our lives. and maybe have a movie, put on a movie, talk about tomorrow, any ideas for tomorrow, and it because it was the first time I'd ever worked, I was surprised that that didn't happen on my next movie. And anyway, but it was all sort of based around this idea that the work is hard and but it's not doesn't start here and end here, and it's like has to like this very tense sort of like it's more like incorporated throughout the day the whole time until you go to bed. So it's just a different style of working really hard. And I would say to this day, it's our relationship gratefully has been based on the same thing. Like after we all would stay together when we made this movie, and there were all these people at dinner, and I guess if you were to do like a weird thing. I mean, really, we were just sitting together in a hotel room, the two of us, in 1997, and the table just got long. But it's the same thing, which is this: he loves actors, and he loves talking to actors and having everyone be together. It's not really like being apart. Everyone together, and ideas do come about at different times. And I will say one last thing is that we're always I'm always excited to share something with him. So if I haven't spoken to him for a little while, the most exciting thing is like just to see what he's listening to or what, because it's how you get to know, at least for me, where someone's at. And so this kind of like, when we're not working together, I find that it's wonderful because it's like, we each do our own things and learn or have our own adventures, but the things that we get excited about, I appreciate that we still share them with each other, because I think that's what keeps making our relationship seem healthy.
I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about how you two together found Augie. The beard, the mannerisms, the voice. How did you put that all together?
Okay, this, if you thought that was a long answer. I don't know how long. Will you fast forward through me if it's getting like, this is not interesting. Well, I don't know because I hope that we found him. First of all,
Oh.
I don't know, but basically when Wes started to talk to me about the movie and I read the script, one thing he was saying was, aside from the part that we had read on the script that was there, he said the first time we spoke, maybe there's some thing we want to do. I don't know what that is, but is there something we've never done and I said, well, what do you mean? He's like, I don't know. Is there some like thing? And that was a wonderful question, and because it's all the characters written out and it's there, but there's another thing that what is that? And Wes said early on, like, I don't know, is it like a prosthetic or like something unusual with your hair, like, and blah blah blah. Fast forward. Did you fast forward? Oh, okay. Sorry, I went from it. But it was really wonderful, this like process of trying to figure out this character. And he had said to me early on that he liked Stanley. There was something about Stanley Kubrick that appealed to him. This is very early on. And in fact, I hadn't even read the script yet. And he just said, we're still writing it. Think Kubrick. And at that time, I actually had Stanley had a book right there in my hands, and I sent a picture saying, "Oh, okay, good, already thinking about it," which was just that will never happen again. That kind of love. But I should just take a photo of every book I have, and then next time someone say, "Think of this," I'll be like, reading it right now. But anyhow, but I didn't know what that meant at the time. What does that mean, Stanley? And I'm not sure Wes did either, really. But there was something about that type of that era, maybe someone of that era, and the way he spoke and the way that he and it reminded me a lot of my dad's voice, who was um, no longer alive, but of a similar era. And so the first thing I actually did was I went to my mom's house and got all of these. Tried to find all of the home videos um, of anything I could find that had my dad on it, because he's filming it. But and I didn't have any play or anything, so I actually got like this like Minolta. I went on eBay and found the exact camera, and was able to play it. I still have this camera now just for playing these videos. And like listening to the way my dad spoke, because he was from Brooklyn, ba bum boom bam. So, but what we were, so I was sending Wes. We had all this great time. You know, he was saying, "What about try it where he's from New York. Try it where he's not from New York. Try it where it's subtle, over the top." And anyway, at one point, but I could tell the Kubrick, that was really, it sounded good, like in my head, if I could just do it. I didn't know what it was. So I started working with this woman, Tanner Marshall, who's an incredible dialect coach. And she whittled or helped figured out, and then was that like what appealed about Stanley Kubrick is that what was appealing to Wes about it was that he didn't move his face very much, and I moved my face a lot, and so and I started thinking about my dad. I was thinking about facial movement and like, and she said that we could try to just work together on exercises to not make your mouth move, but you have to change the way your inside of your mouth works, all this stuff, and we worked on it for a long time, and I would send videos like, "How's this, Wes? How's it?" And it was always like, "Keep trying, we're trying," and this is all months and months and months before, but like trying to make some kind of progress, because it really was my responsibility. It was like, keep coming with ideas, and we're talking about. Anyway, the big moment for me was I was in my house, and I was doing something, my back turned, and my wife was there, and I made a joke, I think, that got a very like this kind of interest, like, and it was like I should make fun. I don't know what was going on. And then I said something else. She goes, I don't know about it. And then I said, and I looked back, and she had like a hydrating face mask on her face. And she's like, I can't talk right now. I have this thing on my face that's drying my face. And I was like, sorry, no problem. You have what on your face? And so then I borrowed this stuff, and then I'm getting my own because I didn't really borrow it because there's only one left, and it was hers. And so I didn't borrow it. And I ordered some clay, this like facial rehydrating clay. And I just didn't read the directions. I just like put this stuff all over my face, waited for it to harden, and then did all the lines up, trying them. And I was like, this feels good. Like, there's something that feels good. I'm so sorry. I told you it was boring. But and anyway, I sent Wes a video saying, I have an idea. Don't look at the clay, but I've got this stuff on that I can't move my face. And I feel like there's something about it. And he wrote back like, we're on to something. So then literally it's like, Tanner, he really likes this thing. I can't move my face. He's like, she said, that's why we're doing these lessons. You won't move your face when we do it. And I said, yes, but I like the feeling that I can't. Like it's different than like restraint. Like I like not being able to do it. So I was talking to Wes. We were like talking about like healthy options of perhaps a Novocaine rub that I can add every morning, or some type. Yeah, I literally says something that is there something that was not harmful that could help me from moving my face a lot? And we spoke to Julie Dartnell, who did the hair and makeup movie, and she said, well, actors, you can do dental prosthetics, and sometimes they can really affect the way you speak. And so I was like, let's try it. And I got a little thing made that's like sort of like like a mouth or Invisalign, or how there's like a groove for your teeth. This would be just this big, and it had a groove on the top and the bottom for my teeth. It was this big. I had one for each side. and it was like I popped it onto my molars, and it would lock my jaw shut. And so then when I started to talk like this, like I really was like, I like that I can't speak, and there was something about it that was interesting. And then trying to work on it with Wes from that point on, um, that became the beginning of the Augie character. And then he said, maybe your voice is there. We would do all kinds of versions, like super New York sounding, very loud. And then he was like, I kind of moving around, and maybe how would your voice sound higher pitched? I worked on like getting it higher pitched. Then he's like, maybe too high. How about lower? Then I did like work with Tanner. I was like teaching me these exercises to lower my voice. I've never done any of this, by the way. And then anyway, we ended up. He's like, I like the pitch of your voice here, which we found out was a B flat. We had moved it from a B flat to a G. With these various exercises that would take me like an hour to do every morning, and that was the beginning of the character. And then that was once Augie was that once we had that was the thing. And it was weird because it's like a year later. That's him a year later saying maybe prosthetics or an accent. It literally was prosthetics and an accent, but it was like then I realized, oh my God, I'm also a character being played by an actor, and I should have done it the other way around. I started to have another panic, but then I sort of realized that all the work. This is what I told. I didn't realize. This is. I'm sticking with this because this is what I had. But all of that stuff that we were doing with Tanner, all this voice work, this almost like a year of voice work, um, was probably the work that this actor Jones Hall would have been trying to mess with to create this Augie character, because so in a way Wes was sort of already pushing me in that direction anyhow. And so and that's the end of chapter 1.
I wanted to ask about being in Asteroid City because I'm not sure if the audience knows. The city was built on a watermelon patch, from what I understand, in Spain. And so, what was it like, sort of occupying this place?
Yeah, well, it was a watermelon harvest, but it wasn't in season. Like we didn't squash a bunch of water. I mean, it wasn't. But as you as you said, it was a remarkable. It's probably. I mean, we would all feel the same way. I think how rare. I mean, it's so rare to walk into a place that is not there all the time. That you can walk completely around, go into every room. There's electricity, running water, bathrooms, roads. Everything was built there, and like that freeway, that huge freeway, that's built there. And I've never really felt like, I guess if you go to an amusement park, like that kind of like strange, where you're like in something real and not real at the same time. It was a very odd feeling, and the work that went into it was just like the most beautiful. You can't even imagine. Like every single thing was built, and it was insane. And it was so helpful because it was like you were in the movie. And I've never experienced anything like that. I hope that I do again. But all of these actors, like Tom had picked up, like people have the movie stars, like they were like, whoa, I've never seen anything like this in my life. And I was like, really? And this is so abnormal. Like and so that really truly is so odd. And we built it in the middle. We built a desert in the middle of Spain, which was funny too because they exist in America already. But Wes wanted to build it here. I mean, literally, like they were choosing the soil color. I mean, everything. And so it's just so much work went into it. It's incredibly fun and beautiful. And I always was curious when planes would fly over. Like, what do they think is happening right now? Like, there's just nothing, and then like a 200-foot mountain, but only one side of it, and a freeway that's not built. What is going on down there? It was really fun. Beautiful.
I wanted to ask you about having started working with Wes when you were a teenager. What was it like then now working with Jake, who
Plays
plays
my
his son, who plays Woodrow, and the other sort of young actors who are now on a Wes movie too?
Well, you mean what was it like?
What was it like for you, sort of being in this position now?
Yeah. What if I was like, I don't get what you're saying? So what no, it was not lost on me that like when I read the script, for instance, it was not. I had never been a father of four in this. Like Wes wrote a character, and it was a 17-year-old son and 3 girls, and it was. I felt so excited to do that, and I've got children now, but to play a father, I've never done that, and it was so. I really loved working with Jake and the triplets, and I mean they really were like my little family, and those actors, Ethan and Ray, everyone, they were so amazing, and I mean I just kept thinking like I was really freaked out when I was working every day. They're really good. They have a lot of prowess, and they just like boom, 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 boom. They're just like amazing. So I have no doubt that they will all do anything they want to achieve. And they were also so. You'd walk by and they have like these chess tournaments and all this stuff. Like I wanted to get in on it, but it was also like, never mind. It's not like I didn't feel, you know what I mean? But I pretended like I couldn't. Like I can't. I appreciate you guys, but you guys do. But they said we didn't ask you to be with us.
The scenes between you and Scarlett, sort of back and forth in the window, are so wonderful. And I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about performing those opposite her.
Yeah. Well, she's amazing, and the way the schedule was, because she had an 8-week-old baby.
Oh God.
When she had been a mother for 8 weeks, and she brought the baby, and the baby was there, and I mean it's just first of all, it's amazing, and so she comes in towards the end. That's why she'd come in towards the end. So because Wes had said, how much time do you feel like you'll need? And she said, I think 8 weeks. So that's how the schedule was sort of built, and so we did those scenes towards the end, and it was such a testament to her. I can't imagine what it's like. I guess I need a little more time she has so much skill and ability and talent. She landed with an 8-week-old baby, and the next day we were shooting all those scenes. Like we were doing the waffle scene the first day, finish the waffle scene, go to the hotel, and it was just nonstop, and it was great immediately, and it also made it feel like I'm watching the movie because that's already built. I'm just sitting in there going, I feel like I'm sitting in a movie theater watching a movie. Like it was her performance when she was doing it. It was just anyway. But it was wonderful, but some of it, because of the scheduling, I did some stuff, like I would do some parts of things alluding to her before she was there. So we had to really jump on it when we got there, and it was so she's the best. And my favorite moment, actually, or one of my favorite moments of being there with her was one of Wes's techniques that he does that I think is so smart is, sometimes if the audio is not recorded correctly, after the movie's finished, you do additional recording, so it's called ADR, and you'll just say like a word that maybe is like muffled or, but he doesn't do any ADR for his movies, and the way that he gets around that is after you've shot the scene, and he feels like you've got a good version of it, everyone's quiet, and then the actors read the whole scene again with a microphone, sitting in the same place a bunch of times. So the audio picks up the ambience of the room, and it's also smart because you're just done the scene and you're with. And so anyway, I remember we had done a bunch of these scenes, and then we went back to record. We decided we needed to do one more scene just to get the recording of it. So the three of us went over there, but we were there before the sound department was there. And we just sat like opposite each other in these windows, waiting, and just kind of talking about this experience. And the sound guys came and we did this whole scene where we were just talking. We didn't, we knew the script. We're just sitting there talking, looking at each other, but we're not on camera, but we're doing the scene. And it was such an amazing, after we've been doing it a bunch of times. So it was like a straight, and it was this kind of, it's a moment I'll never forget.
Well, thank you so much for being
I can
here.
do one more.
We can do one more. Okay. I wanted to ask.
I feel bad about all these answers.
Well, a quick one. Tell me about interacting with the alien played by Jeff Goldblum.
Interacting with the alien.
Yes.
Well, can I say, so Jeff Goldblum, he's 6'6" or something already. So he was there, he got there, like, he was there for almost as long as I was. This is how dedicated, it was like the most, like just how badass this guy is. Working every day on these stilts that made him like a good, he must have been 8.5 feet or 9 feet tall, for real. I have video of him like on these stilts, and it's like very strange. And he's practicing his movements every day, walking like an alien. And anyway, the day we shot that, it was the most impressive thing because like the suit was amazing and everything, but it's different, I think, to be 9.5 feet tall, 8 whatever, walking, and then to do it in a total bodysuit that's rubber and you couldn't really see. Not that the suit was made imperfectly or anything, that he could. It just maybe it was darker than we thought it was going to be, but it was so hot in there, and he would do these long scenes, and at the end he would have to stand up and walk down this aisle, and he never took off his mask because it was and I just was like, I did not see Jeff Goldblum anymore. After a certain point, I was like, try one more time. And he's like physically exhausted. And I'm like looking over at this like poor, tired, heaving alien. And I remember going like, it's really good. And he's like with his fingers and everything. And I was like, it's really good. And I did not think it was, I was like, I love that this alien came here to be with us today. And this could not be easy. It's probably his first movie. And he doesn't understand that we do so many takes. But it was just like pretty much one of the coolest things I've ever seen. Jeff told me, or he revealed the other night that he actually has the stilts. Yeah, which doesn't seem like if anyone should have stilts, it should not be him. But he got them.
Well, thank you so much for being here. And can you all just stay? I want you to give Jason a big round of applause, but can you all just stay in your seats while everyone walks out? And then, but thank you all so much for being here.
Yeah, I just want to say, I know time is limited and money, how we choose to spend our time and what we choose to see. And the fact that you made this part of your life tonight is like, it's, because we worked so hard. You don't have to like it or do like it, but the fact that you chose to be here, I'm very grateful for that, and I just really want you to know that, because as a fan of movies and time, I know how much how important it is. So I really appreciate it.
Thank you all so much.
You want to talk while we're watching?
Why not? Hey guys, I really like the movie.